Hello and welcome back to Just an Average Metalhead. It is me, your host with the most, Matt. We are back again with our final video of 2024. It is my top 10 albums of the year. Now, this is a video I have been keeping track of everything all year long, even throughout my extended hiatus towards the back end of this year. But I've been keeping a constant update on what's been going on in my with albums that I love. I've been keeping a track of a top 10 all year, and here we go. These are albums that have absolutely just blown me away this year. Some you might not agree with. Everybody's taste is their own, but you know what? Just this has been like a year where I've really fallen in love with music again. Doing this channel has really helped as well. But yeah, I've really fallen in love with music again, and these albums have really helped. We've got a few curveballs in this, I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, this has been absolutely a fantastic year for me music wise. And yeah, New Year's Eve 2024, and I'm doing my top 10 albums of the year. So here we go. In at number 10, we have got Eminem and the Death of Slim Shady. I've been an Eminem fan since I have been knee-high to a grasshopper. He has been a constant in my life. He's the person that made me fall in love with rap music, and from there I have broadened my horizons big time. And this album this year, The Death of Slim Shady, it's the first Eminem album I've fallen in love with for quite some time, probably since Marshall Mathers LP 2. Like some of his previous releases have they've had some highlights, but for me it's been all filler, no killer. Like there's been brief moments, but not since Marshall Mathers 2 have I had an Eminem album fall into my lap, which has had that fire and venom, and it's just had life in it. Like this one has. Like Kamikaze had a lot of that back in 2018, but for me this is the one. There's been a few trips along the way, but this is Eminem back on form. I'll say it's been on a constant rotation, but due to the pure quality of some of the albums higher up in the list, it's slipped quite down to the bottom, and it's the same with the next one. There's I love these albums so much, but they have just kind of just slipped down the list slightly because the sheer quality of some of the albums we've had come out towards the back end of this year has just been phenomenal, and I just had to drop them down. I'll be completely honest. The brand new Cure album was in this list, but unfortunately, I had two releases come out which just wiped it out, and what an album had to go, and that was it. Actually, a couple of albums had to go, unfortunately, and yeah, so the Cure album and the Body Count album had to go. So, unfortunately, it's the way these things work. But yeah, in at number 10 is Eminem, The Death of Slim Shady. Some really good storytelling from Eminem on that album. Yeah, granted, I'm just an average metalhead, and my first album of the year is a rap album, but that's just it. Let's not fucking hem ourselves in with fucking genre. Just you like what you like. In at number 9 is Bruce Dickinson, The Mandrake Project. Just Bruce Dickinson doing what Bruce Dickinson does best. Granted, I love this album a lot more when I first heard it compared to like when I listen to it now. But it's like, again, it's just purely to do with the quality of stuff that's come out towards the latter end of this year. This is one that came out towards the start of 2024, and yeah, it's just, yeah, it's Bruce Dickinson doing what Bruce Dickinson does best, really unleashing his vocal power, but maybe just doing some things that he probably couldn't do in Iron Maiden itself. Like, it sounds very Iron Maiden, but there's just a couple of things that sort of like twist that sound slightly, so it just to differentiate itself a little bit. Like, Bruce Dickinson's voice is really sounding good for his age. It's a phenomenal album. It's his first solo album for quite some time. But yeah, the Mandrake Project is phenomenal. I love this album. Like, the band is built up behind him as well. Like, some real good technical musicians playing with him, and they mesh with his solo style perfectly. And yeah, I can't complain. I absolutely loved the Mandrake Project by Bruce Dickinson. It is phenomenal. There's not a lot I can really say. If you like Iron Maiden, you will like the Mandrake Project. It's as simple as that. In at number 8, one from the latter half of this year, and that is the new Linkin Park album, From Zero. Oh, I'm still somewhat blown away by this album. If it wasn't for a couple of weaker tracks for me personally, this would have been in the top 5. This album is fucking phenomenal. I've been, again, like I've said before, I've been a Linkin Park fan since Hybrid Theory came out. I'm that old. 32-year-old man sat here saying that he likes Linkin Park. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, then the new lead singer just absolutely blew me away the first time I heard her. Like, Emily Armstrong has got some serious power to her voice. Yeah, with tracks such as like Heavy is the Crown and Good Things Go, especially like oh yeah, like for me, I think now I've listened to it a few more times, Emptiness Machine really does call back out to me as the standout track. I know it's the first song we heard off the album, but it's the reason why. It's got some power to it. It really showcases the new sort of, well, not new direction, because Linkin Park are sounding more than the early days than they have for a long time, but the direction they're going forward with Emily Armstrong as a lead singer, it's a strong comeback. It's one of the best comebacks I've heard for a long time. I do absolutely love this album. It is phenomenal. Yeah, From Zero by Linkin Park in at number 8. Like I said, it would have been higher for me, but the quality in the top 5 is just. It's taken me a good like week or so to juggle this list because I kept stressing out about it. But yeah, for me, From Zero by Linkin Park in at number 8. It's a great comeback. Please check it out. Number 7 is an album by a band called Grayscale Season, called Feel Something New. In my younger days, I used to be quite the metalcore fan, because of course I was. Every sort of like person my age kind of thing back then loved metalcore. Like, I was around for Killswitch blowing up, Trivium, all that. But over the years, it's just kind of, it's been watered down to the point where a lot of the metalcore releases now are just fucking water. It is just carbon copies, bam, 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 stamp. stamp it, print it, copy and paste. It all sounds the same to me nowadays. There's no life in the genre. But Grayscale Season have really, really like blown me away this year. It's a metalcore album which has breathed a bit of life into metalcore for me. It might just be a one-off exception, but this album's just blown me away, and I heard it on a whim. Like it's just something that randomly came on Spotify for me, and I've ended up like buying a physical copy of the album. Yeah, Grayscale Season have got some talent. Like they really, really like are trying some different things with metalcore. You could tell there's some real emotion and passion behind their playing, and that's what I want from metalcore. And that's what I felt why I fell in love with it in the first place. Like they just it doesn't feel like the same old copy and paste like we've been getting for years and years. And like I said, it over the years for me, metalcore's felt like it's been watered down that much to the point that it's just water. I thought there was never going to be anything for me to make me like it again, and this is really sort of gone. I might start dipping my toe again. So yeah, Grayscale Season feels something new in at number 7. Number 6, an album from a band that I have fallen in love with this year, which, due to me, my own stupid fault, due to me listening to some other people's opinions, I ignored Powerwolf for the longest time. And then at the back end of last year, I discovered the song Resurrection by Erection. And it made me giggle. But the more I listened to it, the more I appreciated the music behind it. And then that led me to dipping my toes into Powerwolf's back catalogue, and fuck me, was I wrong. Like, this is the year where I've fallen in love with Sabaton and Powerwolf. And yeah, it's just the new Powerwolf album, Wake Up the Wicked, is exactly as it says on the tin. It's fucking wicked. Like, oh, like, who knew that I would like Italian power metal? Probably everybody. I'm a fucking Iron Maiden fan. Of course I like power metal. But yeah, Powerwolf just really do something to me. The lead singer's voice is just infectious. He's got that sort of like operatic nature a little to his voice. The keyboard player is just something special, and it's the reason why I love wrestling. It is dumb, but it is so much fun. Like, I love Powerwolf. They are so good, and I cannot wait to eventually check them out live because I've heard good things, and oh my god, like this new Powerwolf album is great. That's why it is number 6 in my top 10 of the year. I have listened to this album on repeat since it came out. Like, it is great while I'm out running or I'm working out. It just gives you that yard of pace in your step. You just want to go forever when you're listening to Powerwolf, and it's amazing. I love it so, so much. So please check out Wake Up the Wicked by Powerwolf. In at number 5. Bum, bum, bum. We have an album by heavy metal luminaries Judas Priest. Invincible Shield by Judas Priest is one of the best albums Judas Priest have made. This latter half of their towards the end of their the twilight of their career, and I don't say that lightly because I fucking love Judas Priest. But those guys are getting old. Like Rob Halford is getting old, but if you listen to Invincible Shield, you would not think Rob Halford is getting old. Jesus Christ. The power in his voice and the rest of Judas Priest, Like, they sound so fired up. The songwriting is there. Oh my god. Like, Invincible Shield and Firepower, for me, like, feel the same as the last two Ozzy Osbourne albums. It is a resurgence in the last, like, the twilight of their career that I never saw coming. I thought I was done falling in love with Ozzy Osbourne albums, and I thought I was done falling in love with Judas Priest albums. I thought it was going to be like pick the singles and then leave it, but no, that both Firepower and Invincible Shield have been front to back, no skips. Let's fucking go. It's just so damn good. Like, oh my god. Like this guitar work on this new Judas Priest album is just something special. Like, the first single we got off it was fucking Panic Attack. You'd have thought this was like Painkiller era Judas Priest, for fuck's sake. Like, they are on it. Yeah, insanely good. Insanely good. Like, it is fucking crazy. Sorry, I've just kind of knocked myself a bit bandy. Right, in at number 4. I know this is probably something that you probably think I'm cheating a little bit, but Ghosts right here, right now, the soundtrack, live album slash soundtrack to the concert movie, is in at number 4. For me personally, like, this has been an album that has been on repeat since I saw the film. I cannot, like, I can't form words of how much, like, I fell in love with that film slash like live album. Ghost have got it. Like, they are world beaters. Like, me personally, I know they're probably going to be. I think from what I can gather, they are going to be busy next year because obviously world tour, and I think we're getting a new album next year. I'm pretty certain we're going to get a new Ghost album next year. But this concert film and live album are just, it's one of the best live albums I've ever heard. The production is there, the set list is perfect, the performance is incredible. They have got the showmanship to just knock everybody out of the water. Like, at this point for me, their show is rivaling Rammstein for just pure, like, showmanship and performance. Like, they have got it. Like, yeah, I know all the true metalheads sort of go, it's fucking Scooby Doo music. Well, shut up and have a beer, enjoy yourself. But yeah, it's kind of a cop out having a live album in my top 10, but it's just how much this album has meant to me. Like, it is so good. It is so good. Like, there is some. I'm going to release another video today, which will go into this further. But there's some ghost related stuff coming on the channel next year that I cannot wait to tell you about later on today. You will. I'm giddy about it. I'm so giddy. So yeah, right here, right now, by Ghost is in at number 4. We're in the top 3. We're in the top 3, ladies and gents, and those in between. In at number 3, we have, in my money, one of the best bands in Britain right now, and then Graphic Nature. And in their new album, Who Are You When No One Is Watching? Graphic Nature are gonna take over the fucking planet. If they keep releasing music to this standard and the standard of their like first full length album, nobody stands a chance. They're gonna blow everybody away. For me, they feel like as vibrant and as like vital as Slipknot did around like debut album Iowa. Like there is like listening to Graphic Nature's music, there is a sense of danger, but it's so British. It has got that like grime influence, but it's heavy as fuck. And yeah, this album has blown me away. And if it wasn't for two albums, well, an album and an EP that came out towards the back end of this year, I would have like it'd have been number one. It was number one for the longest time. And yeah, I just like Graphic Nature are gonna own the fucking planet. Like, not only have they got it in studio, they've got it live as well. But the quality of this new Graphic Nature album is just, it is intense. It's full of life. It is like they are trying something new with metal, like with that grime influence and that like that lead singer has got like that their lead vocalist has got that he's got the flow, and that's all that fucking matters. Like he can throw down with the best of them, but like you put this on and you want to run through a fucking brick wall. Yeah, please check out my number 3 in my top 10 albums of the year. Graphic Nature's Who Are You When Nobody's Watching. All important top 2. And who'd have thought my second best release of 2024 would come from a gang of lads from Liverpool in their debut EP. Carnal Rot Skullfuck Fulmination. Jesus fucking Christ. I know I raved about it when I did my review on the channel, but the more I've listened to it, the more it's stuck with me. And I know, again, I suppose it's technically cheating because it's an EP, it's not a full-length album, but fuck it, it's my list, it's going on. Like, even over this past week, this top 10 has changed so many times, but this has always been in the top 3. Like, believe it or not, yesterday Ghost and Graphic Nature had switched spots. Because that's how much that Ghost album means to me. But I've been listening to all of these albums on repeat for about a fortnight, and today I finally felt comfortable with how this list looks. But for a band who's literally only just signed a record deal after this EP's been released, they have got the tools, they have got the talent. There is something special about Carnal Rot. You cannot stop the rot. Like, there is, for a death grind band to put this much like effort into their debut EP, and for it not just to sound like mush, like, or it's been like just slapped together. Like, there is an obvious passion there, and like this album came out like on this EP came out on the 10th of November, and like it's been on repeat since then for me. There is something special about Carnal Rot and their debut EP, Skullfuck Fulmination. Granted, if you don't like things on the heavier side of life, like, it's not going to be for you. But yeah, like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, 2025 big things are going to happen for this band, and I mean that big time. Like, there is something, I don't know, they must be putting something in the water over in Liverpool, because Jesus Christ, it's the first time I've been blown away by a band like this. Like I've said before, the rhythm section are locked in perfectly. Like, it's over and out in like 15 minutes. It's relentless. It's crushingly heavy, but there's still technicality. Like, these lads know what they're doing, and it has meant the world to me discovering this band this year. They are absolutely fantastic, and I take my hat off to you lads. You are fucking brilliant. That was a mistake. I couldn't get my ponytail back through me out. Right, in number one, and it's probably no surprise to anybody. The Last Will and Testament by Opeth. Again, back end of November, this album came out. November the 22nd, just over a month ago. And I've listened to it, about twice a day, every day since then. There is something about this album that just scratches that, like, special itch at the back of my neck. It is proggy, but it's heavy. It is, like, it's technicality, but it doesn't disappear up its own ass. Like, it's a concept album that works. Like, it's the first time we've heard from Opeth in the studio since 2019. And it's like, they haven't done a full concept album since 1999. But the death metal screams are back for the first time since 2008. Like, it's 8 tracks. And it's 8 tracks at perfection. Like, there is nothing I can say about this album which, like, won't cover how good I think this album is. It perfectly balances that line between, like, heaviness and prog. It reminds me so much of, like, I don't know, like, it's that perfect evolution of what Opeth have become since Heritage. Like, when they veered off down that prog lane, I fell in love with that band even more, and now they've brought it back round. Now that I feel more comfortable with the heavier side of life, like the death metal vocals over that proggy sound really do make this album special to me. And for me, it is the best album that was being released in 2024. It's phenomenal. And they are special, Opeth. Like, they have the tool, like I said about Carnal Rot. They have the tools, they have the talent, and I wish more people were into Opeth. Because I have not nerded out over an album like this for quite some time. It is really something special. It is fantastic. Yeah, like I said, no words I can say can do it justice. It is fantastic. I just, this is an album that's gonna. It's probably gonna like. It obviously it won't be included in next year's list, but it's gonna dominate my 2025 as well. It's gonna be an album which I'm gonna be. It's gonna be rinse and repeat for quite some time. Yeah. I'm lost for words with this Opeth album. It is just. It's one of the best albums I've ever heard in my life, and it just really is special. Like it's their 14th studio album. Who would have thought that like they would drop something like this later on in their career? Granted, I don't mean that later on, as in like Judas Priest, but nobody expects the 14th album of a band to be this phenomenal, but it is. So that is The Last Will and Testament by Opeth. I highly recommend you checking out any of the albums on my top 10 list. I know you're less likely to check out Eminem, but it's my list. I'll put in whatever I like. There's going to be another video later on today, which I will go into this more. But for everybody who subscribed to me this year, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm a nerdy guy who fucking records all my videos in my spare bedroom. Like, I work full time, and this is just something I do just for the sheer love of it. Like, music has been my love in life for as long as I can remember. And yeah, really making an effort with this channel this year. I know towards the back end it kind of dappered off a little, but yeah, it's really meant something to me that this I've been able to just give some proper effort to the channel this year. And if you think like the little bit I did this year is gonna like was the best it's gonna get. Mm-mm. Next year there is gonna be some really special stuff happening, and I cannot wait to tell you guys. So yeah, that's it from me. I wish you all a happy new year. Welcome, like, I hope 2025 gives you everything you want. Just know that you're loved and keep the faith, guys. Love you all. Bye.